Hello there, Aries. How are you today? Let's find out what your partner is feeling right now. What are they thinking about? Maybe what are their next moves? But let's see what's going on between the two of you. What are they feeling? All right, bottom of the deck here, we've got coffee cup. So there's a part of them that really wants to sit down and have a good cup of coffee with you, maybe savor the moments, the times that you spent together, and just really kind of reminisce and maybe kind of bring the two of you together. They do feel a certain amount of love here in this situation, but with the girl with the snake, I'm wondering if there is someone here that's behaved in a sneaky way. They love you, but something here is telling me that maybe something has occurred between the two of you where there was lying, cheating, that sort of thing. They're trying to reach out to you and would like to reminisce about the past and maybe talk things over, and hopefully you can bring some sort of resolution to the situation that's going on with you. And that's what I'm talking about here with the coffee cup. I think that there's a part of them that really wants to get back together with you. Okay, Aries? All right, let's go. Let's see what they have to say, what they are feeling, maybe what they're thinking about right now. Now remember, use your judgment and your own intuition as to how you're going to receive these messages that are coming through. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. Bottom of the deck, we've got 7 of Cups. So they are very confused right now. They're unable to really make a decision as to which way they're going to go with regards to your relationship. There's a part of them that's really just very indecisive right now. There's a part of them that's also kind of shut themselves away, shut themselves off to receiving any kind of affection or love or any offer. They're covering up their heart here because they've been hurt. The thing that's really affecting them so much is just the negative self-talk, any kind of bad behavior, any behavior that obviously that is not serving them or serving the situation between the two of you. That's what's challenging them, because when I see this individual sitting here under the tree, they're really in their minds. They've closed their heart off. They've closed themselves off to really receiving any suggestion. Almost as if I'm getting the impression here that you're dealing with somebody that's incredibly stubborn. And once they get their feelings hurt, they don't want to deal with anything else. They've shut down and they get in and they ruminate over the situation, and they start thinking the worst things. They have fear, they have anxiety, stress, and they really start getting suspicious about the other person or the current relationship. Deep down inside them, they really want the truth. They want to be the leader. They want to confront you. They want to come towards you and ask, what is the truth? I want to know what's going on. And they also want to know, they want to be able to tell you how they're thinking, how they've processed this whole situation, because the King of Swords is all about the mind, the intellect. They've taken things and they've overanalyzed it because they're sitting here under the tree, and they've overanalyzed the situation, and they want to say what they want to say, but they don't know quite how to do it in a way that's not going to be destructive. Because I think there's a part of them that senses that their directness and all that energy that comes towards you is really destructive, because the energy of the king is very, now this is the master of the suit, it's very powerful. And when they come at you with their thoughts and their opinions, they really go after. They go after it and they don't back down. So that's probably what's created a lot of the problems here. And in the past here, there's an energy of someone wanting more stability, and that this may be you or your partner, but there was a talk here about long-term, about someone that's going to commit to something long-term and lay down the future, lay down the plans for the future. Not necessarily like, hey, let's have a fling kind of thing. Somebody here wants to settle down. And that looks to me as if that has been a recent occurrence here, maybe a talk that's occurred between the two of you, whether you're going to be completely exclusive or try to plan for something bigger outside of your current relationship, current situation. We've got the Three of Cups situation here, and the Three of Cups is about celebration with friends, friendship, but it can also mean, especially when you've got a girl with a snake here, whenever I see that card, to me it worries me that there's an energy here of a third party. And certainly they're thinking about Three of Cups. This is what they're feeling outwardly, is the Three of Cups. They do want to celebrate. They do want to surround themselves with friendship, but I'm concerned here if there is a third-party situation. Now, make sure you take that as it applies to you. If it doesn't apply to you, a third-party situation doesn't apply to you, then don't apply that to your life, obviously, right? I don't want you to get suspicious unnecessarily. Now, remember, third-party situation can be a third person, or it can even be something like that they have affection towards, like their job. something that they really, really put their heart and soul into. So it can be a person, it can be a job, it could be friendship. Maybe they don't want to separate from their friends. Maybe there's a part of you that feels like they really just value their friends over you, perhaps. So that's what I mean by the third party situation. What's motivating them here in the future is you, the connection that they have with you. They really do feel a certain level of deep connection with you. And that's where I'm talking about here, the love that you both share. There's a deep connection, almost like a partnership situation here, and they're wanting to commit, but there's a part of them that's closed off because they're hurt. They want to take this to a new level, to a higher level of commitment, and that's why they're blowing you a kiss. They're trying to reach out to you and see if you guys can both rekindle the relationship between the two of you and kind of mend the fences. You're coming at this with the energy of the King of Wands, and that is someone that is incredibly passionate. Now, when you have the King of Swords and the King of Wands, that's a lot of energy. And if you express your way in your King of Wands way, for example, that's a lot of passion. That's a lot of energy. And if you fight, the King of Swords energy is also incredibly, incredibly powerful and very confrontational, and that really creates a very toxic environment because neither of you are willing to back down. This person, like I said here with the Three of Cups, this is a person who is really dedicated at mastering something in his world or her world. So whether it's the job, if they're working hard in school, for example, if you're here with somebody who is busy with, say, they're being a doctor or training to do something else, training to be a nurse or a doctor or a teacher, something where they're really focused into a career, something that's going to provide them stability. So this is what I'm talking about, the third party, is that perhaps they are burying themselves into something else and not necessarily at you, right? At your relationship. They're thinking so much about work, about their studies, something that is really consuming their time and being that third party situation. They're really, really in their heads about this because they miss you and they regret what has happened in the past between the two of you. They regret the time that was wasted between the two of you fighting, and they really want to make things right. You've got the Nine of Swords here, King of Swords, so they're really in their heads about this. They're thinking, they're worrying that you're not going to let them back in, but they're so committed to what they're doing right now, to their work, because that's what's going to create that stability in their world, right? Because you've got the Knight of Pentacles here who wants to lay down a really stable future, and you've got the Eight of Pentacles here, someone who wants to really work at that future, that stability. This person is incredibly sad, incredibly regretful that they've believed that they've messed things up with you to the point where it's not recoverable. That's what they're worried about, and that's why they want to sit with you and drink maybe a cup of coffee, right? That's, even if you don't have it, that's just kind of figurative. They want to get back together with you, communicate in some way so that maybe you can rekindle the relationship, because they do see you as the Lovers here. The Lovers card is about commitment at a deeper level, not necessarily like, hey, let's be exclusive. We're talking, this is someone who really truly believes that you are meant to be together. And they're really worried and they're ashamed about what's happened in the past, and they're in denial that they can't believe that everything has turned out the way it has, because they truly believe that you were meant to be together. So they're inside their heads, they're the negative self-talk, they have fear, anxiety, and denial. In the future, what they want is for things to be balanced. And that's what's going to happen here in the future. There's going to be balance here. Things are going to come to light. Things are going to become a little bit more clear. And you're going to know, both of you are going to know how this is going to unfold. But this person really wants this. This person wants to get to the bottom of things and wants some sort of defined moment. What's going to happen between the two of you? Are you going to take them back? Are you willing to accept their faults, their shortcomings, the fact that they have to devote so much of their time and energy towards their work or whatever it is that they're focused on? Something like that. So let's, and remember, they're very indecisive. They're kind of up in the air right now with their feelings. They don't know how to process their feelings because they are the King of Swords. They are all in their heads, and they don't necessarily see feelings. They don't approach things in a feelings kind of way. They strategize, they break things down, and they're able to really break things down into the most nitpickiest things and then, assess it that way. Not necessarily, in a heartfelt kind of way. They're not the most emotional people in a sense, like romance and, thinking about how you're going to perceive it. But either way, they want with the Justice card, they want to get to the bottom of things. They want stability. They want to be able to move forward. And they really are very regretful here. They don't know how to open up to you. All right. Yeah. Here, again, with the Balance card, Temperance, it's about balance and moderation. Here, this guy, this individual here is just so committed to this thing that they are working at. And they understand that they need to create some sort of balance in order to allow you into their lives, in order to create something more stable between the two of you. I think they learned their lesson. They've come to that realization that you are the person that they want to be with. They feel that things have gotten a little bit out of hand here and it's too late. And they know that what they needed to do was create balance and moderation in the relationship and create time to be able to spend with you. They also know that there's a part of them that knows that because you are this divine union, there's a part of them that wants to believe that something higher than them is going to bring the both of you back together again. And look, they're very optimistic about the reconnection between the two of you. They really are very hopeful, despite the fact that they have a lot of fear that you might have moved on. There's a part of them that is trying to be very optimistic and believe that maybe you want to get back together with them and allow them back into your life. I want to clarify here the Three of Cups. What is that about? Why is the Three of Cups here? Remember, this is what they are showing outwardly. Yeah, Ten of Pentacles. Again, I believe that the third party situation truly is about work, something else. It's trying to create stability in the future here, because now you've got the Ten of Pentacles. This is about legacy. This is about abundance and stability in the material world. So yeah, I don't necessarily believe that this is something that's like a third party situation, like another person, right? An affair type thing. I really think that this individual really has buried themselves. They're very hardworking and they're very determined, and they know what they want for their future, and it's this. And they're outwardly showing it. And they're surrounded by people, celebrations, things like that. And this may be at work. Right? There may be a lot of gatherings at work that they're invited to, celebrations at work, but definitely this is something that they want. They want to form a legacy. They want to create that legacy, and they may want to come towards you with an offer, right? To ask you if you can take them back. That's what they really want to do here. Let's see what they're feeling deep inside here. Now we know that they are very direct with the King of Swords here. They're very direct with their feeling, with the way they think. They see things as they are and they call it. Not necessarily in the nicest way. They're very nitpicky and they almost to the point of criticizing. But what's going on here that they're not really they're not really bringing out to the surface, and that's this. It's the feelings. Remember, I told you here that they are all about their minds and their intellect, and they're not sure what to do about these feelings that they're having. Six of Cups is about them reminiscing about the past with you, the good feelings that they had. But again, someone like this with a strong mind quality, right? That these types of people, they don't know how to deal with feelings very well. But there is something here, well, whether or not they want to admit it, there's something here that's forcing them to confront the past here, the reminiscing about the past. And there's a part of them that feels like they can't escape this, that they are incredibly, they're remorseful, they're sad, they feel trapped in their thoughts here. You've got the Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords. They're trapped in their loop, their thoughts, their negative thinking. They really regret what has happened between the two of you, and they feel that they can't get out of this negative self-talk, that things, that you've moved on without them. Though they feel as though you are the person for them and that they're optimistic, I believe that the way for them to get out of this situation, of that negative loop in their head, is when you guys come together and sit down and talk things over. That's when I feel that there's going to be a turning point for this individual, because this is the future here. The outcome is optimism and joy, resolution, right? But they are currently stuck in their fears right now, and until there's an opening where they can sit and believe that you're going to accept their offer of reconciliation, or maybe coming together to discuss any plans for the future, I think that they're going to stay in this level of grief and sadness until you open up to them. But they are going to try to reach out to you here and make you an offer, and hopefully that will bring some sort of closure for them, because they want closure here. That's what they want, and whatever that is, it's going to work out for them. It's going to work out to their favor. Yeah. Here you've got Five of Cups. So they bury themselves in work because there's a part of them that feels this love, but emotionally wounded, but again, they don't know what to do with it. There's a certain level of nostalgia here. They're thinking about what's transpired between the two of you. They're thinking about the past. They don't know what to do with it. So what do? They bury themselves into more work. More work, yeah. And this is going to, the situation between the two of you is going to force them to really transform, because now they're looking at themselves and they're thinking, am I really working too much? Am I really devoting myself too much in my current endeavor? Was I really neglecting this individual? Was I really neglecting this relationship? Yeah, here you've got wish fulfillment. So whatever they do decide, and however you two decide to come together, the agreement that you have, this person is going to eventually heal. They have a lot of hope. Right? They have a lot of hope that things are going to turn out in their favor. But whatever decision comes about, because that's what's going to happen, there's going to be a decision that's going to come about when you come together, whatever that is, this person is going to come out on top, and they're going to have wish fulfillment, and that's what they want. That is truly what they want. So let's look here, see if we've got any other oracle cards, see if there's any other messages that they would like to convey to you but have not been able to because you're in a no contact situation. Yeah, so this individual truly feels that they have known you for a long time, and that's where the Lover's card here comes in. This is what I mean about a divine union. This isn't something like, oh, I met you last week, and and we were sitting at a bar and now we're together. It's not like that. This person truly believes that there is a deeper type of relationship here, more than just kind of like, oh, maybe we'll be together, for a couple months, maybe not, I'm attracted to them. This is something much, much deeper that they feel for you, Aries. They are the one. Yeah, again, they really truly believe that you are the one for them. Open your eyes. If someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And this is something that they're really contending with, right? They're wanting to believe that you are the person that you truly are. And they're trying to, again, sort things out in their minds, because this is what they see, not necessarily what they're feeling. They don't want to deal with the feelings part. They want to deal with what they see, what's factual to them, and they want to assess it. But then they're thinking, believe them the first time. So if they're in their heads, they're thinking, how can I bring the two of us back together if this individual is really overly passionate, if what happens between the two of us when we fight is so destructive? Is this something that I'm going to need to worry about in the future? Is this something that's going to haunt us and create more problems? But see that here, again, it's about unbreakable love. This is part of the reason why they were up in the air and they had that initial Seven of Cups card, is that they were really indecisive. They didn't know how to process the current situation, because there's a part of them that loves you so much, but then there's also a part of them that feels like there's so much energy between the two of us that when we fight, we're pretty destructive, but when we're together, we're a powerful union when we're together. But boy, when we clash, we really clash, and we create a lot of destruction around us. Let's see if there's anything else here that isn't being said, because we know that this person has a problem expressing his or her feelings. Let's see what the cards say. Running from your problems won't solve them. Yeah, I think they're realizing that they need to come forward to you and really come to some sort of decision here, because trying to bury their heads in their work and themselves in their work is really not serving them. And they're wondering, they're so regretful about everything that's happened. They're so regretful about the mess that they've created that they don't know why it is that you guys were so passionate together, and then you went from that to now no contact. We're both waiting for the other to make the first move. So yeah, that makes sense, because you've got two very strong energies here. You've got the King of Wands energy and you've got the King of Swords energy. Again, like I said, this is a very powerful union here. Two very powerful forces coming together. And the question is who's going to make the first move? Right? And these people can be very prideful, because that's the king energy, a lot of pride. And so both of you may be showing signs of too much pride, and you're waiting for the other person to make the next move. If there's a next life, I'd tell you how I feel sooner. Yeah, again, they don't know how to communicate with you without creating such a destructive event. Right? They want to communicate, but they don't know how, and they're waiting to see if you're going to make the first move. Okay, Aries, next, every person who leaves takes away something you no longer need. So yeah, they're having to really, reflect within themselves, what is the lesson to be learned here, right? Is there something, are we supposed to be apart? And what am I supposed to learn from this? There's something that I need to let go of. If we don't work out together, if we don't come back together, there's something here that they need to learn. All right, Aries, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you soon. I love you. Bye-bye.